early voting and the day of.
That's correct.
Okay. You know, like we talked about a minute ago, we used to get that where you had early voting at the top, and then below that, you had the election day. So at least the election day, we could kind of match this, but we don't have that now. So what I did was I totaled on these sheets the early voting amounts and the election day amounts, and then added in the paper ballot ones. And I am close to what is on this. It's hard to match these together, because when you look at these, that the judges write, they write them down differently. Sometimes they'll have up here number of ballots in the carrying case, and then the ones that went through the equipment, and then the provisionals, and they don't add up the same. They don't, you know, but that's what you have, is what the judge writes down, and that's all you have on what we have here that we could try to match up with this. So I think, and y'all are welcome to look at these and see if you can make a little better sense of it than I am, not being an election person, but I think looking at it and trying to add it that way is probably about the best I'm going to be able to look at it and see. And I know it's, maybe I'm not saying it exactly right, but I don't know of any other way to look at that. And I think that's probably the best that I can figure out to do. Just like on this one, it shows, and no offense to the judges, because everybody remembers and looks at things a little differently. On some of these, you'll have in the carrying case 0 and the 370 here, 7 for the ones that voted, and the provisional down here. And some of them, you would have this number and this number be the same. So it's just hard to tell by the way they wrote it down. But well, here's one. In the carrying case, there were 228 paper ballots. They're saying the number of ballots cast electronically were 220. But then, making a total of 228 voted that day, and no provisional ballots. So, I mean, that doesn't, others are not made out the same way.
Do you need more time to look at that?
No, I don't think I'm gonna be able to, I mean, they're just really different. But when you do take those ballots and run those through the machines, that takes out the human part of us writing it on the form, and those should be electronically the same when the ballots go through. And I think we are using the provisional number. We're very close on the total that she shows that voted. Now, I could have messed up on about a vote or two on these sheets. So I don't know that, since we don't have the old one, you know, the old way it used to print out with the early voting at the top and the regulars of the precincts, and we'd check those to these precinct ones, but we don't have that. They can't print one.
It's an updated system.
But we are close on the number of votes that were cast, and we just have to have faith in those machines that when they run it through, that those calculate correctly the number of votes that go to each one. So I'm about 20 votes short, add these up according to what we have in here. And I think some of that is the provisional, and some of that is just because this is probably not, well, there's 8 votes right there that I'm not sure of at all, which way that went. Because this says 220, and they said a total of 228, but they only showed 228, so, you know, depending on how you counted that, did you count it as 228 or 220? But when you run them through the machine, that should be correct. The machine should be. Now, would you tell me the last explanation that you gave about that overvote?
Okay.
Which made more sense to me.
Yes, ma'am. When the ballot board took the provisional votes, they had to manually tally each of those. So somebody may have overvoted and they marked a mark for both of those versus leaving it blank because they don't know what they intended. So they put marks for all the overvotes.
And that wouldn't be a cause for them not to count that, just because it was
That's
an
correct.
overvote, is that right?
That's their explanation of what they have to make the choice. It's what they think the voter intended is how they mark, how they,
But if they put two in the same race and marked on both of them, they may have counted both of them.
that's what I think could have happened.
Could have happened, but
Yes.
who knows? I think that's as much of a canvas as I know what to do with it. Let me pass these around, y'all look at them.
It's an updated system that we have now, why,
But these are
It's not as
manually
good as-
filled out.
it's not as good as what we had, even though it's an update.
We have the oldest system that I think you can imagine. We have got to update the system is the problem. And it's thousands of dollars to do it, but it's an older system that counts all the votes, that they had lots of trouble that night with it reading the cards. So we had to
That's the part
manually,
that bothers me, is the problem. We can't operate if they can't provide us
Exactly.
a system that will work properly. But,
the specialty people were there, they were on the phone with the people. They still did not figure out why the cards were not able to be read, and they're supposed to investigate it.
So is this an old system or is this the new system?
Okay, it's an updated from the old system, but it's still old. They do not very seldom use this system any longer.
Okay.
Is that the one you just paid $8,000 to though, from the same company?
You have to pay for all programming. That's what the programming was.
That didn't work, messed up, or I'm just.
The programming did great for all the machines and voting and all the races. It's the machine that reads the cards, is what it was.
does that mean though that we need them to give us a new program that works properly?
We need to,
Not that we need to buy new machines.
No, ma'am.
because
not the
Everybody's
machine.
still using all those.
That's right, it's the programming that,
Yeah,
So we need a new program to go with it.
that's what we need.
So we need to make sure that's in
It needs to be in place, you're exactly
in
right.
place for the next election. That the new system work with the new program.
That's correct.
And so that would give us a more accurate
The
count.
votes are accurate.
Yeah.
It's just that when you manually counted, the voting board
change that number.
put numbers more, so we had to manually put what they give us. We can't change the totals. So we put them all in there, manual on the provisional.
Well, I'm glad that's all we had, and didn't have Florida.
Right, see these five now, yeah.
We're a long way from Florida.
Boy,
You know, we
That would
had
be a minute, wouldn't it?
701
We're a long way.
in the carrying case.
You think a little different, you mean, tell me, you stand out there and you don't see the beach, you know what I'm saying?
You see, they said there were 30 ballots in there.
I thought you might see my way or something.
Number ballots.
We'll see on Seaway.
Was 220, making it over 220. And then from this, and the judges fill these out. So, you know, there's no.
We skipped this. Didn't that girl do that?
Couldn't satisfy myself.
They still carry turkey breast across the creek.
Judge.
I'm working part of the day.
sometimes people, not all provisional candidates, so those numbers aren't gonna match up because provisionals are, let's not put
Fresh stuff.
provisionals in a different.
Yes, it's not all, you know, some words, some words.
This is
Just call it, told them, call this
well,
one.
that's eight right there.
Yeah, what, I mean,
Let me show you just this one as an example. All right, this is the one that they said they had 228 paper ballots in the case. And the number electronically voted was 220, making a total of 228 that voted. So, you know, there's a little discrepancy there, that's why I'm saying it, and there's some other ones there that are a little different on there. So, to the best of my summation, and we're just canvassing, seeing if everything looks as well as we can tell. Because the machines read these ballots and those should be correct. So, if y'all wanna look through them and try to figure something else out, but,
The blue is not gonna match the numbers because not all provisionals were counted that's involved in the blue.
yeah, but I had that white page that showed how many provisionals and added that on. But, like I said, these numbers are a little different.
And see, 17 wasn't counted, so there's your number right there.
Well, but I
Just
only
looking
added
to-
in the provisionals that they said.
Yes,
But then like that eight, it's off one way or the other, and we don't know which way.
that's right.
We can't know. So, and what I'm looking at are the printouts. And even though we did have some problems with our program, do you feel like in the end, that all of the ballots were put in and are summarized here on these
Yes, ma'am, I do.
sheets?
Yes, ma'am.
It says, I certify that the figures on the returns have been received from Linda Jarvis and approved by Commissioner's Court. I don't know, what else are we gonna look into?
I make a motion to approve.
I said,
All right, all in favor, aye? Any opposed? Motion carried.
we do need to look into getting the software, whatever.
Updated software.
We most
Yeah,
definitely,
if we don't have something working, we're gonna have to do something.
we don't have to do that. So we're
Yes.
not expecting to hear this come the next election.
Exactly.
Because we're saying today that we're expecting to give whatever you need to fix the problem.
And I want explanations for this one.
If we have a representative come and talk to us,
I would love that.
if you would do that, I think that would make everybody
I think that.
feel better,
I
because
think
we
we
could
need it.
impress upon them that we are not gonna continue
I think that's needed.
with problems.
Yes, ma'am.
It's much too important a process. All right, anything else? Comments from Commissioner's Court?
You gonna mention we may get Mr. Cody Harris to come visit with us for the legislative meeting?
Yes. Yes,
We talked about
we did. And I have it written on our little list to do.
I can contact him pretty quick, if you'd
Pardon?
like for me to. I said I can contact him pretty quick. if you'd
Do
like
that
me
for
to.
us and tell him we meet on Wednesdays and, we'd like for him to come. Whatever Wednesday he can come, if he'll let us know ahead of time, and we'll put it on the agenda, but if he just happens to be in the area, he can come by. Thank you.
I think he's gone there.
He was here the other day, with, Fairfield's, economic group. What, 3 weeks ago, I think. But I'll get a hold of him and see if he can come on
Thank you.
Wednesday.
Thank you.
it. We're not gonna meet on that.
We're not gonna meet this next Wednesday.
No meeting on Wednesday?
No meeting on Wednesday. Now, if you want to come up here, you do. All right, let's. That's a wrap. We're going to share. That's okay, I'll just get it.
Almost a wrap.
Let me see. Anybody, anything else? No, all right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Second.
Made it about 40 minutes
Motion
ago.
carried, we're adjourned.